Anyway, I'm gonna have us go live, and then we can talk about it. Sorry, we were old person complaining about some things.
Video games are bad, and only the ones from 2002 back are good.
That's true, also, but there's so many bad games from before 2002, though. Oh god,
it's almost like a majority of video games are terrible.
Yes, it's almost as if. I'm gonna tell you. Here's some nostalgia baiting for you. Most Ninja Turtle games bad.
Yeah.
Turtles in Time, very good.
Yep, that's the one.
But the port from the arcade, it's not a great port. It's an okay one. So, yeah, it was an okay port from an arcade game, and ones before that. I don't know if I ever bit the first Ninja Turtles one, the one with the weird you can drown as a turtle or something really quickly.
Yeah, that was a thing. Look, we all remember and have fond memories of Sega Saturn, but we all like to forget the Dreamcast. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Don't forget the Dreamcast. It's the greatest console ever made.
Yeah, it's a console that wasn't set for its time and advertised well, unfortunately.
You can also tell a game is from the Dreamcast. There's a very bright color palette consisting of a lot of blues because that's all the console could do.
Yeah. The Dreamcast is this weird mixed bag that it had a lot of really great ideas in it, and then also some poor executions. And it's because honestly, it was online for its era, and it actually had decent online connectivity in an era that didn't have that. Anyway, that's off topic. Hey, we got some topics to talk about today. Either if you're live with us on Twitch chat, it is over in chat right now, or if you're joining us on the YouTube or any other side, it's in the description. So let's just start with these topics, because honestly, that's probably a good place, and we could just yell about some things more.
Yeah.
So the first two is there's two little things from Paizo. The first one is just a little neat thing that I wanted to mention because Paizo continues to win me over with their little neat things, and that is a little message in here. They're mentioning some cuisines from their Impossible Lands thing.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. And they have an actual recipe in here or something. I guess that's supposed to be from that kind of region or something.
Yeah, I mean, D&D has a cookbook, so
It's little things like that do add to the world, and I like it when they do those. The other thing is they're like, oh hey, this game Wrath of the Righteous? It's getting a second season of DLC.
I did say it'll be getting more DLC, and I didn't care.
It's one of them is just you can have a shifter, and there's a shifter.
Shifter. Oh, shifter's a terrible class. It's really bad. Why not? Is there a cleric in the game yet? Do you have a cleric?
I got an oracle.
Why don't you have a cleric?
The game, well, they do have a cleric, but he's not a very well-built cleric to start out with, and I tried to improve him, but he's he uses a glaive, and I don't know. There's just something intrinsically bad about his character, and you get him right after the first chapter, and I'm I can't place what's bad about his character, but there's just something off about him that he never really works when I use him.
Look at that. What companions exist in this game?
So the cleric he's okay, I think, and I made him a little bit more okay, I will tell you, because I gave him the mythic ability that any spell that lasts for longer than 10 minutes or longer lasts 24 hours. So I mean, he just buffs everybody, and I just make him buff cleric. I don't even know what deity is. There's a life oracle too, but honestly, I think the problem with the life oracle is you have a lot of healing options anyway. And a life oracle is just a healer, and I'm sorry, in the campaign like this, I'm the healer is nice, but I'd maybe a support oracle or something. I don't know. They give you 3 archers. One of mine died because
there's a Zen archer here.
The Zen archer is actually pretty nice. His character.
It's Zen archer, and also he's probably a well-built character. Paladin standards. There's a hunter, witch.
The witch is weird because I will tell you, it's a archetype that isn't a normal archetype that basically makes the witch into a sorcerer.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, It's so they have spells like a sorcerer instead of like a
Eldritch Scoundrel.
He's fine.
Oracle, a Hell Knight. That's fucking Hell Knight gnome. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's a Hell Knight gnome.
What the fuck?
He actually is a pretty decent character. He does 2-weapon fighting and like adamantine armor. He does the gnome double whatever hook hammer. He's actually pretty decent because again, like
the edgiest gnome I've ever seen.
He is the fucking edgiest gnome ever. He's also like in the middle of bleaching, so he's like I never know when I'm going to die, so I must live for for the Hell Knights while I can, or something like that. It's sort of like I must do my duty while I still breathe. It's like, fuck, man, you're the edgiest motherfucker ever. That's like just lawful evil to the T. Yeah, Hell Knight, no. I do like his character. He has no character, but I like his character.
Is this a serial killer?
The shaman. The spirit shaman.
Alright, fair enough.
So, they get a mixture of, like, cleric and druid spells and stuff like that. And, it turns out that's a really good thing for, like, buffs and stuff early on, because they give you to her in, like, Chapter 1. And so by the time you get to, like, Chapter 2, you've tailored her to, like, what you need. And then you, like, learn from Chapter 2 and 3, she's a horrible serial killer. That's really awful. And, like, why? Because I could suspect she was evil. Because she has this mystical... She has an amulet you can't take off that's, like, alignment blocking.
Weird.
So, like... But, like, they went extreme evil, I was fine with the... I just like to murder people, I'm evil. Not, I like to murder people because it's my proclivity. There's a difference between that. One is, you're chaotic evil and kind of a jerk, and kind of like be like, well, I really like killing people, and I have an excuse to by joining this army. And the other one is like, I have this urge to murder people in very horrible ways and bathe my sword in their blood. Notice the difference. One is looking for an excuse, the other just does it. The excuse one will at least not do it sometimes.
Alright, oh man, there's going to be 6 DLCs for this game, jeez. Story DLC, that's not canon.
And, like, there's a DLC of, like, partying, I guess? I don't know, DLC 6? And
why?
I don't know. None of these DLCs seem like great.
The post-story DLC is fine, but like I don't know. It's a 6-hour DLC where you're like regular dudes because the main character's doing something else. I guess that's what this reads like.
Yeah, that's like the Through the Ashes, which is like I think it was one of the early like 1 through 3 DLCs. It's like here's a little like campaign of like some other dudes that are on the side while this is going on. And they say like you could just play this story without using your one from Through the Ashes, or you could just continue Through the Ashes because it's like connected off of that, which is
it's neat. I mean, like I don't know, why not like any other good class?
I don't know. It's just the fact that, like, Wrath of Right just disappoints me in a lot of ways. I've talked about how, my opinions are, hey, it's... They put an infrastructure for a you can be any alignment in a lawful, good, leaning campaign.
Yeah, so for those of you who've never, played the Adventure Path, which probably most people who watch this, because it's old, and it's very long. You are basically told, hey, make a lawful character to some degree.
Yeah.
But you're gonna be fighting demons.
Mm-hmm. Lawful and good are suggested.
Lawful and good are suggested. You can do lawful evil, because lawful evil would be devils, not demons.
And they oppose demons,
Yes.
Hence why, that's why, like, though Hell Knights aren't in the original story, when they give you some Hell Knights, I'm like, it fits.
It makes sense that Shellick could, care enough.
Yeah. There could be factors within Shellix that are like, demons overflowing the earth, that's bad for our devil friends, let's go send some people to take care of that.
Yep.
And then, like, Uh, and then like there's things that fit like that, but again, like it's the thing that like you can be any alignment. And like Kingmaker is an adventure path where you can be any alignment because it's set up that way, and it's very easy to set it up that way. And I think the original adventure path was probably leaning more towards good, but you could that one you could at least.
Yeah, most of the adventure paths, it's just mostly due to the time, these games are made, are leaning towards you being neutral or good. There's a couple of evil ones, but like you don't have to be super evil, because evil's bad PR. Fun fact.
Yeah. Like, you can have, like, the once in a while, like, this is the evil campaign, mwahahaha, or, like, more evil.
There's a Chelix campaign where you could...
Yeah. Hell's Rebels is one, I think. And
Hell's Rebels is, you're basically doing a civil war in Chelix.
There's
Hell's Vengeance is the sequel, which is where your evil line character's dealing with the aftermath.
Yeah. And there's also, like, the one they're doing right now, which is the one where you're in the undead country and, like, trying to make names for yourself in a country of undead. And basically, that's tends to be a neutral evil territory. I'm sorry, yeah. The campaign is going to be leaning that way. Good characters aren't really going to be welcome. And it's the same thing with this game, but you can be chaotic evil demon worshiper that's like, these demons, I don't like these demons.
Yeah, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
Man, I never realized this. Why? Chelix has a lot of super hooks.
Also, like, I do have to say, Wrath of Righteous, they made up their own mythic paths completely.
Yes. That's dumb.
Yeah, they don't actually use the actual... They use, like, 50% of the actual mythic abilities in...
It, like, wants to be Pathfinder, but also not. Which, it leaves it with this weird, it's halfway Pathfinder. But it's a lot of the bad parts of Pathfinder. You don't have a GM to fix it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is, and like a lot of the systems that you're using, like the dice rolls, are the Pathfinder systems, which is sort of like, you need a little bit more Pathfinder, but you also want it to be video gamey, and I'm like, they did this correct before back in Neverwinter Nights, why can't they do it again? I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, I heard Baldur's Gate 3 gets it kind of right, so...
We'll see. Again, like, Wrath of Righteous, it's not a terrible game for what it is, and honestly, I would play it on a very easy difficulty, and you probably won't have much trouble. I played it at, like, a little less than the, like, true Pathfinder, what they call it, difficulty. Like, I edited things a little bit to, like, tone it down from, like, the I guess it's technically hard. I chose to play a little less than hard because you can customize it. But the thing is, I'm used to Pathfinder, and, like, it worked very well in Kingmaker. Mostly. So,
yeah.
I was hoping my little extra tweaks, which you can do, would have fixed it more.
Nope.
They still occasionally throw you against enemies that are like, why is this here? Why does this exist? Where you have to, like, save scum so much. And reload a lot of times. Anyway. So, I mean, if you really like Wrath of Righteous, which we have people that do, if you are better at the video game side of this game, you're going to like it a lot more.
Yeah, I remember it's a CRPG, not a Pathfinder, although it wants to be Pathfinder.
Yeah.
It's a game I don't think I'll ever play, because of the way it's been described as, like, this sounds literally worse than Kingmaker, and I already hated Kingmaker.
When there's issues, they feel big to me. When there's not issues, it feels pretty fine and good to me. And that's it's the weird emotional toll this game has on me a lot of times. That's why, like, sometimes it's like, when I have extra days and extra sessions of, like, gameplay, like, I've said, like, I can play it on Tuesday or Thursday, and I'm like, either stuff comes up, I'm like, I could push it around. I'm like, I don't really want to push it around.
Yeah.
I want to finish the game, but I'd rather do it, like, during my normal time schedules that I already have put out for streaming, rather than stream extra times for this game. It doesn't feel worth it for this game.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing where it's like, a game can have really good moments, but its bad moments take you out so much that they're just, like, so awful that it really drags the mood down.
Yeah, it's like one of those things is, like, by the end of Kingmaker, I was almost sold on the game except for the ending. Like, if they had a completely different ending that was less Like, the ending didn't even be changed that much. The ending could be less sucky. Okay.
I didn't even make it past Act 2 in Kingmaker. That's how much I hated it.
The thing is, the king making, that's pretty bad, because they don't tell you enough about it.
No, there's no, like, actual tutorial.
The real
and
tutorial...
it doesn't really work like, you know, the books work, which is what I know.
Yeah. See, I didn't know that, so I was going in on my own. And they give you a very loose tutorial, and there's a lot of details they leave out that I didn't learn about till much later on, that if honestly I knew about them, I would have done stuff with them and made my experience a lot better. So on the king-making side, I had a bad experience, but it was sort of like, it was fine, because that was only part of it, and I was like, it's sort of like, I was like, oh, whatever, okay, I'll live with it. The main story, it's kind of stupid and crazy in a lot of places, but I thought it was fine. Most of the chapters were fine. Even stupid super owlbears, I could live with it, because you get to a certain point in time where you feel like everything is at least at equivalent or difficulty, at least it felt like that in that game towards the end. With occasional, like, very difficult fights that stood out. So I never felt, but there were some, like, enemies that were they're very bullshitty towards the end too. Like, things that have auras that don't normally have auras in the game that, like, give you, like, status ailments and stuff like that, that were just bullshitty. Some kind of fae that, like, was much higher difficulty and had weird will saves or, like, get some kind of penalties. I forget what the fuck they were, but they were just annoying towards the end of the game, and there was a lot of them. So, had to deal with that shit. Got through it all. The tweaking of enemies to make them more video gamey and less Pathfindery felt a little too much sometimes, because they make things more difficult rather than easier. I don't know why. And then the ending where you can actually have it that none of your companions survive. You have that option because they basically they're like, oh, you're alone. You can choose to go straight to the final boss, or you can actually try to find all these people or something, and they don't make it easy to get some of them back and stuff like that, especially depending on your choices you made. I went for because I was neutral good, go for the good choices, so they all decided to come with me that I encountered, because I treated them well. But apparently if you like any other alignment, they could just fuck off and no longer have them anymore, and you don't have the option of using them for the final battle. So the team that you've been training with, because usually you come up with one team out of all these NPCs that you really like, you get none of them. But I still got screwed, because my bard wasn't one of them. The bard's involved in the final scenes, and therefore doesn't join you.
Nice.
When they built the entire team around using the goddamn bard. And also then the ending kind of blows. And I just hated it. So there you go. The Kingmaker's ending. Anyway, so Wrath of Righteous, I haven't played the ending. I haven't finished it. I'm in Chapter 4. Eventually I will. I do not think I will play through it again. Same with Kingmaker. And I don't think the DLC really interested me in that much, these ones here. Unless there's something like... Unless someone comes to me and says, like, oh, the Through the Ashes DLC and its, sequel are really awesome and great, and stuff like that. I'd be like, okay. Are they balanced a little bit more? I don't know. So anyway, but that's paizo stuff. Let's talk about other things that I can technically complain less about. I want to talk about something that Steve Jackson Games did, and it's not Munchkin. Bad Christmas. It was a card game about bad Christmas gifts.
Alright.
Yeah. So you get like Santa toilet brush, recycled jack-o'-lantern, slug farm, Swiss Army fork, tuna flavored candy cane. You have to try to get the gifts that you want. I'm guessing that like it's a they don't tell you a lot about the game.
It does not tell you how you're meant to play this game.
That's the unfortunate thing I have to say about it. Is that it's coming out. It's only 19 cards. I feel like it's it's interesting concept that there's like really bad gifts and you have to like get the ones that you feel like are the least worst for you or something. And if there's what the nature of this present giving or taking game is a question. The veneer looks interesting, I will say. But unfortunately, there isn't a lot on the rules or how it's actually played yet, which is the worst.
Yeah, that's the only way you can really judge a game like that is how do you play it?
Like
and there's no rules or anything listed here.
It comes with like these the 19 cards, the rule sheet, and a pad of gift lists, and then they have like a PDF for more of them if you need to print them out. Because I assume you have like a list of gifts, like the list of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So yes, the list of 19 gifts, and I'm guessing there's some way to determine what you want out of the list. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, it's like all I can really say about it. It's party games like this are fine usually.
I mean, again, its veneer looks kind of cute,
yeah.
But the thing is, like, it's one of those things that it's unfortunate that they're not giving a lot of information. So I can be like, hey, this looks interesting. Maybe keep an eye out if it does interest you. Maybe wait for them to release a little bit more information.
It's $10. Well, the recommended price is $10.
Yeah, which isn't a lot for 19 cards, or is a chunk for 19 cards. It's like not a cheap game. So I don't know. It's something maybe to think about.
Yeah, maybe.
Again,
it's not Munchkin.
It's not Munchkin, and as I said, it does have a kind of a cute little veneer of like, oh, it's really terrible gifts, ha 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 ha, hee 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 hee. Anyway, hey, remember the other week when we were talking about WizKids and their stuff and their Terrasque that we found randomly? Hey, it's out now officially.
Oh.
So now you don't have to pre-order the gigantic Terrasque for $400. Now you can actually purchase it.
It looks. I mean, it looks nice. I've always thought the Terrasque looked dumb in 5e. It's just a big dinosaur.
Yeah, the 5e design isn't great. I think some of the other older editions have better design.
There's also, yeah, I mean, like, that's also just not very strong in 5e due to how mostly size limits.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is 5e limits things and stuff. Oh god, I was just looking in the Forgotten Realms wiki and the first edition version of Terrasque is so stupid looking.
Let me find that bad boy. Oh yeah, it's just a Deathclaw with a turtle shell. Tui is just a Deathclaw from Fallout.
Look, I think it's older than Fallout, so I mean it was their first at least.
4th edition looks wacky. I like 3rd edition the most, honestly. It looks the most unique.
Yeah, third editions looked pretty good. I liked 3rd edition. It felt a little bit better than it's chunkier and different in such a way than the 5e one that worked. Even the 4e one, I feel like at least it feels a little bit more interesting. It's just.
Yeah, I mean, the all first edition art is bad. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. None of the art in first edition is good. However, the first edition art is at least looks based off the mythological counterpart.
I mean, like, honestly, like, I feel like I kind of like the Pathfinder 2nd edition version of the Terrasque. And I look at the Pathfinder version of it. Kind of like.
Right, I forgot this fucking painting's a Terrasque, right? Okay. I'm gonna give no context for this chat, and you will never have context for it. But God, the mythology. I'm gonna post this in I don't know, just general chat for you to enjoy. This is like what a Terrasque looks like in mythology, by the way.
Oh, I think they're really. I can't recall, but I remember they were very silly looking.
They're dumb as shit. I'm just gonna put that there for everyone to enjoy in the Discord. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool mini. Yeah, I'm of the opinion I would never use these miniatures. I would put them on a shelf.
Hey, Colossal Red Dragon!
Yeah, they're just too big.
I technically tried to use it in the D&D Minis game, because technically there are rules for it, but the rules are so silly because it's sort of like, in the D&D Minis game, you, short story for that one, if you ever want to play it, the one that's back from 3rd edition, I would technically recommend it if you can, buy, like, a bunch of the minis, like, in bulk or something. Probably not gonna get any rares, but whatever, with the cards. You basically have, like, a battle map, and both players choose a number of, like, these tiles, and then you take turns placing the tiles, building, like, a map to battle on. Which is kind of an interesting concept, you know, because you add terrain and, like, you know, walls and stuff like that and make hallways. Big things like that just have rules. Ignore walls.
Yeah.
So just, it exists on the board.
I mean, like, if I would buy one of these big, way too expensive miniatures from WizKids, it would be the Tiamat one, because I do love Tiamat.
They are very expensive. So I'm curious as to the size versus the price on this, because I can't tell from these pictures, is the only thing. Box doesn't say either.
Yeah, True Lightning. Terrasques are all weak to coconut if you're flying.
Standing over 11 inches tall, 15 inches from its natural multi-destructive tail.
It's sizable.
I gotta say, like, if I look at this miniature here and I look at my big old red dragon, like, I'm sorry, the big old red dragon, it's like $100, and it's the same size, and it has some pretty good detail. Like, I'm sorry, inflation hasn't been that bad that it has to be like 400%.
It's a lot of, like, mostly due to D&D's more popular now. I feel so it's got a price markup.
Yeah.
But, hey, these to me are shelf pieces, not. Yeah, I wouldn't bust one of these out and make players. Mostly because I don't know if any one of you in chat has ever handled detailed miniatures. They like to break very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Miniatures are very fragile for how much they cost.
I'm gonna tell you, that red dragon, not very fragile. It's actually pretty well built for what it is.
A lot of miniatures have, especially if they're like not a dragon, when they have like swords and stuff.
Oh,
those
yeah,
swords are probably gonna break, and you're gonna have to glue them back on.
I feel like that's the other thing is maybe quality in weird ways has changed.
That's why Warhammer has stand-in rules for expensive miniatures. Because people don't want to lug their expensive miniatures around and break them at tournaments.
Thank you, Warhammer.
The one good thing you do, Games Workshop.
Anyway, let's talk about a couple of RPG-related Kickstarters. First off, this one that I called Being a Thief. Hey, they have someone has put out a supplement for basically, like, Thieves Guild. Mm-hmm. So you can have a Thieves Guild or something similar, like a Clawball of Thieves. It's got adventure, it's got backgrounds and archetypes, some unique monsters, contraband magic items, and some tips and rules for running a Thieves Guild. It's funded.
I can't wait to use this and make my players go on a quest for 25 gems to put into a bust that is never worth it, because the gold reward is leveled and it will never be an amount that's worth it.
Well, I feel like that's from something.
That's Skyrim. That's the Skyrim quest.
The Skyrim quest.
The Stones of Benezia or whatever, you know? It's the worst fucking quest in the game.
I couldn't remember which one it is, but I'm like, is that a Elder Scrolls quest? As soon as you said that, that's what came to mind.
Skyrim quest. Yeah.
I mean, the fact is, like, you know, the idea of a Thieves Guild or being members of it.
These things are cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, and there's no fucking official support for these goddamn things in the DMG or any supplement for 5e. So having hardline rules is nice.
Hey, there's no rules for any kind of organization you want to have in your game.
No.
You want an organization? Make it up.
Yeah. Just figure it out, forehead.
Mm-hmm. Good luck. You'll need it. 50 pages. The art looks, you know, neat, fine.
It's a PDF.
You know, yeah.
$6 actually.
Yeah, $6. We're $7. It looks Canadian a dollar.
CA is Canadian, yeah.
Yeah, so $6 US, $7 Canadian dollar. Just PDF. For 13 US, you can also get the Fantasy Grounds module for it, and then or the Foundry VTT, it looks like, or the Roll20. Okay, so that's okay, so they have a bunch of those there too, and then like they have like a 25. We also have a bunch of our other PDFs if you want to get them in a group one, along with this one. So I mean, like, that's always neat. If you don't have any of these PDFs and you want to look at their other stuff, and they're like, hey, we got some other stuff. Do you want to like a collection of these PDFs? And you'd be like, sure. And they're offering virtual tabletop support for all, like, 4 of the main ones.
It's good.
It looks like these guys are doing something professional. These
$38, you can name a magic item, monster, or NPC. If you're into that, it's only $38. Man, the Canadian dollar is real bad.
Yeah, they're all done though. Those were limited to 5.
Yeah, that's really cool though. I love when they do those. I mean, hey, the $55 ones.
Oh yeah, the PDF plus NPC design backer. Still got 3 of those left.
Yeah, you know, if you got $55.
You know, and you want to like have a lot more say, like rather than just naming it, help design an item, monster, or NPC. Hey, you know.
Otherwise, $6 for the just PDF.
Yeah, which is not bad.
Very good deal.
For a 50-page PDF that has a bunch of interesting things, honestly, not bad. So.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to check it out, Thebes. Thebes. And then, hey, I got one more of these. A little leftover from Halloween. It is just barely funded, but funded with 7 days to go. Home, the Haunted House map building RPG.
Neat.
Yeah. Your characters explore a haunted house and confront a twisted history while grappling with secrets buried in their own pasts. So, it's kind of, it feels like it's trying to be something a little bit like Betrayer on House of the Hill, except it's an RPG rather than a tabletop game.
Yeah.
You draw, the players draw the rooms they discover on the map. Yeah. So you kind of like...
used to do back in the day.
Yeah. Hey, you're supposed to. It's got some... It comes with a bunch of stuff if you want. I mean, it sounds like this is a very, like, a one-session RPG. Which is fine.
Yeah. One-shot RPGs are pretty good.
Yeah.
You can just break them out whenever, and you're like, hey, we got, like, I don't know, 4 hours, just break this thing out.
And it seems like the way it works is you take turns kind of being the DM, too. Like, you take turns being the director. Basically, you draw a card, and you make choices from basically... They give you options on the cards and stuff, it looks like, kind of things. And your choices there depends on how the, like, scene in this room you're exploring kind of turns out. So it's kind of like... It's got a little bit of random elements, and also a little bit of, like, you know... You make some choices when it's your turn to be kind of like the DM. Which kind of is a neat idea, the kind of switching through it as you kind of explore rooms and stuff. There's still some questions I have about the entire thing, of course. You know, I don't see a huge amount on the system in general.
Yeah. See anything like if you have to roll anything, or if there's anything like that.
Well, again, this is a very... You need some kind of physical thing for it because of, like, the maps and stuff, because they got a print and play copy of it that works for their PDF for $20. $45 for the boxed home RPG set. Yeah, your characters get wounds. They also have to fill in the needs. They have you draw from the night deck, so you kind of have a random deck, and then when it's your turn as the director, you respond to the questions, kind of influences it. So I assume that's also another reason why they have the print and play, because of the deck of cards. So this is something it's hard to play in something like a Roll20, but it would be easier to play in something like a tabletop sim.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like these imaginative and interesting.
I like when people do interesting and different things with their games.
Yes. And this one looks definitely to fit both of those criteria. A little bit of interesting and a little bit of different. So, yeah, if you want to check it out, again, it's got 7 days left. It's a little closer to being done than the last one we talked about, but they're both funded, so both worth a check out. I had a few things from Modifius to talk about. Hey, the Homeworld Revelations Core Rulebook PDF is out, for one thing. I think we've previously talked about other Homeworld or something books.
About the main
yeah.
Right? I don't really know a lot about Homeworld. It's a video game I've literally never played. But it is a sci-fi setting, and I do like sci-fi.
Yeah. Certainly, I think there's more coming out. Honestly, like the physical book still is yet to come, but this is like the PDF is out now. If you want to check it out, so
it is one of their main line.
Yeah, it's a 2D20 system. Yeah.
Yep, it's a 2D20 main line.
£15 for the 300-page fully colored book, with all the stuff in it for, I guess, basically. It's a Modifius book. Here's all the stuff you need to make a character and run the game. Honestly,
yep.
They're pretty good at just doing that. As having picked up the Star Trek book, it does a pretty good job of telling you everything you need to know. Thank you for that basic summary there, Lightning. It's about a bunch of people who have been so far removed generation from their home, become legend, and some space dudes come attack them when they try to go looking for it, and sort of have to learn why as you play. Okay, so
I hate when space dudes attack me when I.
Goddamn space dudes. That does remind me, like you now got me that I watched that thing you put in the meme chat or the thing chat with the Stargate.
That one, yeah.
Things. That was like, I'm like, God damn it, that's interesting. Fuck you, goddamn.
All the fucking Stargate powers, yeah.
Yeah, like ranking them or something. God damn it, that's kind of weird and interesting. Damn it.
The channel does a lot of that.
Yeah. So, it's a new 2D20 system. And it's, they do good tailoring in their 2D20 system to the various.
Yeah, the 2D20 system is, in my opinion, one of the best RPG systems I've personally played.
Yeah.
I'm a very big fan of it.
It has some good flex to it too, I think, is the thing too.
It can fit a lot of niches, and it's very simple and easily customizable.
Yeah. So, and there's one more thing from Modifius, just because, honestly, I kind of half want to talk about these, but I'm like, sorry, the cover of this just sold me on bringing it up, is another adventure in the Octung Cthulhu, the World War II, you fight the Nazis, go and try to summon, like Cthulhu and horrors, and you gotta fight them kind of RPG series.
Tank.
Yeah, with tanks, tentacles, and terror. They have alliteration so well. The Forest of Fear.
I do like the idea of that.
It is a tentacle tank.
It's such a weird thing. But I do always love that they have these kind of like Pulp Fiction covers.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of the reasons I do kind of like it too. Is they live up to this kind of like design that just is so interesting, and kind of draws you in a little bit. And like it's a little bit of like Lovecraftian. God, I'm looking at another one of these images of these like Cthulhu tanks, and they're just weird and kind of awful.
That's great. What the fuck?
Yeah, you just go down to like just the tank image. It's just like it's so like what the hell?
Actually awful.
I think it's supposed to be. And hello, tentacle hair thing that kind of looks like a death claw or some kind of reptilian monster. I don't know. You've got me thinking of death claws now.
Death claws are cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is like I will say it every time. I want to try this system like a lot, just because of how it's that kind of like stupid. You know this is dumb. You just play it like it's a Wolfenstein, right? It's the Wolfenstein thing. You know this is gonna be really stupid, but it's gonna be stupid in a fun way. Yeah,
I do have the quick start and. I think an adventure here, so I don't know how well that would be to play it at, but I at least have the quick start, so I'm going to try it sometime. I have to see if I got anything else at some point in my RPG collection of stuff. But yes, so neat. Thanks for your continued interesting stuff. Modiphius, do a good job.
Modiphius does, making weird stuff.
I really do. God, what's our deeper discussion topic today? I hadn't chosen one. I'm gonna look at this list and just we could do something like weird and simple, or we could do something a little bit more complex.
I don't have access to the list, so I don't know.
I know. Hey, here's one that's actually an interesting thing that has come up in our one game here. So let's put this here. And it's going to be game breaks and session length.
Yes.
Because honestly, that's a thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference where you're... I'm going to say, first off, makes a difference where you're playing.
Yes.
If I'm playing on Roll20 online, you know, it's a lot different than if I'm playing with people physically.
Yeah. In person... in person I can do it for a while, but like at a computer, you know, back starts to hurt, and eyes get a little headachy.
You know, you do have to kind of take a break. I think I've come down to the realization that like hour and a half to 2 hours is in between there. Have a break then, you know. Like I was doing it every hour, but like. I used to, but that felt like it was a little too much, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think every hour and a half is pretty good, because it gives you time to get, because you shouldn't sit for a long period of time, first off. It's really bad for your blood and stuff, so you should get up and move around and get the blood flowing a bit.
Yeah. It comes down to also, like, there are different things, like, if I'm having a long session, maybe I'll need food. Certainly need bathroom breaks. But, like, those, no matter what kind of session you can have, sometimes you can excuse yourself. Like, the DM has more trouble with that, and the DM, if they have to go to the bathroom, they have to call a break. And they can do that anytime, you know? Like, on stream, that's a little different, because that's a show, but, like, that...
Yeah, like, schedule your breaks on stream.
Mm-hmm.
Breaks are good for me because I as a person I require food and water, and the biggest thing that hampers my DM ability is the food has to go where I talk from.
Mm-hmm.
So I need those breaks so I can actually eat something and not die of low blood sugar.
It's an interesting thing that, like, the breaks you design really pertain to the game you're running, the situation you're in, and then, of course, to the ever important part, session length.
Yes.
Like, we've kind of adapted, like, because it fits better with streaming, the 3-hour kind of block. Honestly, the 3-hour block is pretty fine. Whether you're on stream or off stream, it does a good job of you get stuff done.
I tend to do 3 hours because it can get uncomfortable sitting in one spot and looking at a computer monitor for that long. But I'm also this thing called old.
Yes.
And when you get old, it gets harder to do that.
I'd say like Buccaneers is an interesting one because you've seen Buccaneers has been 4 hours. And I feel like for an online game, unless you're having like very large breaks or plan a very large break, 4 hours is probably the top tier I would put. Now for Buccaneers, we're switching over to a 3 hour from a 4 hour because we start at 9 now because of two people's schedules. Because Eric's schedule changed. Now Joe joining, his schedule doesn't allow us to start before 9. When we were going from 8 to midnight, 4 hours is okay.
9, 8 to midnight. But as soon as we had to go to 1 a.m., I'm like, fuck me, dude. I like get so exhausted afterwards.
I usually stay up later than 1 a.m., but certainly once it's past 1 a.m., my productivity drops to like, or like past midnight. Yeah. My productivity drops a lot. You know, then it's just sort of like chilling out and maybe like doing some easy things like, oh, I set this thing up to rend. Okay. I can go watch a video until it's done. You know, that's not something I have to like do a lot of anything for. While running a game or playing a game usually requires a lot more. And like honestly, after that like midnight point, it kind of hits you sometimes, and you're just like, oh god, yeah. So it is a lot less that like. Could I do 4 hours? Yeah, but the thing is, like for Buccaneers, it also depends on when you play it. If you're playing from like 9 to 4 to 1, that's a different thing than playing from like 8 or 7 to like 11 or 7 or like 8 to 12, you know? And the same could be said for outside in the real world. If you're meeting at 5 o'clock at night and you maybe plan for like a half an hour to an hour break in the middle, you could maybe go to like midnight with your friends, you know? Like play for 3 hours, 3.5 hours, grab some food and stuff. Like you can be like, you know, order some like a big thing of Chinese or some pizza. Everybody shares it, you know, and then go for another 3 hours because everybody has some chance to like get up, go around, you know, relax a little bit, chat about what's going on.
This is something I will always give in-person D&D is a massive advantage over doing it on a virtual tabletop. You can get up and walk around while the game is happening and not miss anything because you're all in the same room.
Yes.
It's hard to do that unless you have wireless headphones, but then you still can't, like, you know, access your character sheet and stuff when you're getting up. Unless you use the mobile apps, which are usually not good. At least the Roll20 one's pretty garbage.
Yeah, the Roll20 one's not great, unfortunately. I mean, I think it's gotten better over the years, but they still just haven't gotten.
They did a whole new one. I have not checked it out yet, but I know the old one was absolutely horrendous.
You know, it's they're improving it, but it's the fact is like, mobile's a very different beast, and they've focused more on browser, which is understandable. Browsers where to build things up, you know. The majority of people are sitting down at a computer to play these games because, again, mobile is like, you know, you need to temporarily. You're not looking to, like, play it off of mobile, really, most of the time. So, again, like, it's that thing of, like, even, like, online, you could do those longer sessions, but it becomes harder because you have to build in more breaks, you know, in person. Again, you can do less breaks. Certainly, you can go up and go to the bathroom, and yeah, you might miss something, but you're not like missing so much as like, you know, you're less disconnecting, and you might still hear things depending on where the bathroom is in comparison to stuff. You know, like I will always remember my one pal's house that we played at a long time before he moved. We played in like an outside kind of porch area that was converted into another room. So it was like, you know, originally it would have been like an outside kind of like patio porch kind of thing. It was like furnished, you know, insulated, all that kind of stuff. But because of that, there was a little window on the one wall to the bathroom. So you could have you know, like, you could be there and you could still hear things from the bathroom if you went to the bathroom. Also, you probably wanted it closed because you didn't want to make a lot of noise for everybody else, but of course, you know, if you wanted to, you could have it. But you know, it's that weird thing of, like, the positioning, you know, that it was kind of helpful. Or, like, you know, during a downtime that people are talking, it's a lot easier to honestly just to, like, you know, the thing is, I would say, like, Buccaneers, when things are happening, I don't always notice when people leave, especially on stream, until they come back.
I always put in the Roll20 chat that, hey, like, I'm gonna go up for a second because I need water or I gotta pee.
I tend to notice that then. People like...
People in Discord, you have, like, 2 monitors. Discord's usually, like, not seeable.
Because I'm using Discord for the video. Like, right now, if I would switch over to being able to read the general chat, I'm not going to be able to check that until after the stream is done. Because that's my switch. Mess with the videos. I was going to share, I have a link to like a really weird Terrasque looking creature that my one DM used as when we did Pathfinder Fallout. Because the idea was it was Galarian in the future, and like they decided to basically nuke the Terrasque to defeat it, and it didn't work, and mutated it into like a super weird mutant Terrasque.
Right.
And the reason he was inspired by this is he found this picture, and I found when I googled the Terrasque, it shows up this weird, horrible like mutant.
That
Ow.
Words. For me, session length is something I need to know ahead of time because I'm a very busy person.
That's a true thing too. Like,
I know people have like who don't do a lot in their day. Me, I'm like always, I'm always busy with something.
So it's sort of like you certainly like, and the thing is, it comes down to the difference, but a lot of times between online and in person. Like in person, normally let's sort of be like, we're playing in this evening. You're probably going to dedicate an evening because you've got to drive to wherever you're going, play the session, probably get either pick up some food or have a large meal ahead of time that you're not going to feel like you're hungry. Maybe have snacks or drinks. Get there, have the big old session. Also know what your person's providing, if they're providing anybody, because sometimes people provide things, sometimes they don't. Then kind of go home, and you're planning for an evening. And that's kind of a thing, is like, is it taking up my evening or something, or my afternoon or whatever. Online, it's a little bit more flexible. That's better in a way. Like, yes.
It's better in a way. And I've certainly had these feelings of another game where I've been considering I could be... It's a game that happens earlier in the day, which is like, I think I'm just going to be like, you know, if the game starts for X time, nah, I have shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I am a very busy dude. I could be doing so much more stuff than that game, right? And that's a scheduling thing, and you need to like really plan your scheduling out with people because some people have a lot going on in their life. You know?
It is a very important thing when it comes to life and scheduling. Like, it's one of those things. Like, that's why like in-person groups usually we dedicate a day a week to meet, or maybe like every other week or something like that. You know, sometimes they're once a month, you know, and they plan ahead for that, you know.
Yeah.
They say like, we're dedicating this to it. Even like when I'm talking a lot of scheduling, I'm like, I'm dedicating this time to this. And when you're dedicating that, you oftentimes also have to be like, you know, session length again relies back on, you know, another thing that's important too is how big and long your campaign is going to go, which we talked about before. But, you know, the longer sessions mean less overall sessions that you have to do, because you get more done. The story goes faster.
Well, hopefully you get more done.
That's also true.
Always a mixed bag
cough,
of what
cough,
gets done
cough,
in the
cough,
session.
Children of Wrath, cough, cough.
You know, like Pathfinder, we'll use Pathfinder episodes because they're generally very long. They usually go to like a minimum of 15. An hour difference each week shaves off so many sessions or adds so many more to the length of your campaign. If you're doing a homebrewed campaign, That's a little mitigated by you because you're writing your own story.
It's one of those things is that I see like the average season has been like around 10 to 12 sessions for Buccaneers. It might be up around like 15, 16 now for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So it might not. I mean, like, you know, definitely feels like it could be another half a year before we'd be done. Even before, like, I'm talking about like extras or beyond the scenes kind of things, because we're shaving off that extra time. Granted, I've tried to keep things relatively streamlined in certain ways. Like, I have plans, and I'm set up for next session, which is going after this halfling, which apparently has, ironically, has like, you know, added to Cell's character's paranoia of halflings, I guess, or something.
Like, this dude apparently picked the wrong group to mess with because 2 people hate halflings, despite the fact we've only ever had positive interactions with them.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why they're like super anti-halfling.
They hate them and they hate the one town for some reason.
They hate that one town because they wanted to steal their charter off a wall. They yelled at them for it.
I don't understand why these 2 are in charge.
They really shouldn't be, but it sort of ended up that way, unfortunately.
How it is. I tend to just run 3-hour sessions, 3 to 3.5. Sometimes I can go a little to 4, but it's because I tend to do my own campaigns, so I'm usually the one who decides what gets done in that period of time, because I make what gets done in that period of time. Unless players, you know, do something completely weird and, I don't know, just like talk to a dude for 2 hours, because that's happened before, and it's like, alright, cool, I don't have to prep next session, thanks.
It's interesting too, because it's sort of like I had a general idea of like what happens in the party, you know. These are the things that the eel is sabotaging, and here's how they work. But then again, it's also like you have all these conversations and all these side things, and like you embellish these different things, and like honestly, then you have like all these plans, and that kind of like that edits your time length. And again, like that is another thing, is like you don't always know how long different things are going to happen in your game, and that can affect your session length because you know how much you've prepped for.
Because like this party, the next session could be the last session, or we could end up doing a lot of role play after getting the halfling that requires it to go for another little bit into a 4th session.
Yeah, and really it was sort of like I asked the question of like, hey, you have this clockwork parrot, do you want to go after it? Because I would do that for like half a session.
We discussed that we were going to do that, because I still have to bring that up to the party, because I haven't really had a chance to talk to anyone, because I was immediately thrown into, hey, here's this big party, we're not going to like prep you for it.
So that there's like some conversations which have to go, and also like depending on how long it takes to deal with this halfling who, you know, is on the run effectively at this point in time. You know, there's a reason he's called the eel. He's kind of slippery, but you know, doesn't mean you won't. Certainly, in comparison to a lot of the people that you've had to chase after, he's probably the easiest to catch, because honestly, he's on your island.
Yeah. I mean, what I want to do is I want to capture him, interrogate him, and then give him to the werewolf guy because he blew up his ship. You know, get some free, mend the fact that Revia like really fucked up and caused Yuckle to have to punch that man.
Look, you know, the amount of times that they let there's so many times during that party they just let Yakul talk, and I'm like, this is awful.
I can't decide who's worse, Revia or Yakul. They're equally dumb.
Revia just sometimes lets Yakul do things, and I'm like, you really shouldn't.
No, Yakul needs to be on a short leash until we can make him smarter.
You made him more charismatic, and I just need to also make him smart.
Yeah, we need to give him an intelligence and charisma headband.
Well, that's like +4, honestly. Just get him the good boost he really needs.
Yeah. Get him to average 10.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting thing that, like, and again, the other thing is, session length is important because it's you have to be able to hold on to your people that long.
Yeah.
You know, game breaks help in that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't always mitigate everything. Like that, as I was saying, like that 7 hours of playing with like maybe half an hour break in there to eat food and maybe chat a bit, that can help because it's like 2-3 hour sessions. But still, people are going to be more tired second part, you know, in like even like in an in-person. And like, as we're saying, like, you know, sometimes you need to get like to stand up and move around from the computer, you know, that's It
definitely for me helps to break up a session because I can have because a lot of chaos happens in the games I'm in apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, like, having a break where we can take a step away from all of the chaos role play and just like 10-15 minutes, get up, go like get a drink, clear your head a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That does help a lot.
Ugh. So I think it's another very important thing to think about when you're doing your game sessions or planning for your game sessions. How long you're going to play each time. What kind of breaks you're going to give people. What kind of breaks are going to be necessary for you. You have to ask these questions. And make plans for them. It's the same as trying to like organize people. You have to be like, I need you this day for this long. You know, if it's an in-person, you'll be like, I need you this day for this evening. You know, we will probably end, and you know, granted, depending on how early you start, you might say like, we'll probably end around now, you know, or we'll probably end around now, you know, we'll aim to, you know, you make plans. How about our weekend tabletop?
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't do anything on Saturday, so we did something Sunday.
We had Sunday. We had Lightning's game.
Yes.
Flesh Cave 2 Electric Boogaloo.
We did have to go revisit the Flesh Cave.
I got to play a new character for an hour because, God, there was so much chaos for the first 2 hours.
It was a lot of chaos.
I was just sitting there like, man, one day I'll get to be in this session.
Well, it's sort of like we had the one person just run off, and then sort of like and you know, sort of like then just we try to meet with them, and we're just like, oh, you know, go find them, and I'm like, okay,
go find them.
Where are they? Oh wait, you've gone.
Oh, you've left. Okay, really, the only the worst person to die has died in that group.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have my other character, which will be about on par with usefulness of the one that died, because I don't really play jokey characters.
I'm just gonna be snarky to people, probably.
It's just you.
Mm-hmm. Look, it'll be necessary snarkiness.
They kind of deserve it. Those two characters really do deserve it.
It doesn't have to be too snarky, but snarky enough.
Yeah, basically I introduced my character, and then we went to the horrible Flesh Cave, and then there was a big pit of darkness, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna request to go into the pit of darkness next session.
We're gonna fight shadow monsters first.
Apparently, yeah, which makes sense. It's a horrible shadow portal.
Yeah. Don't have anything Monday. I'm gonna have something Monday this week. We'll see how that goes. Should hopefully be fun. Tuesday,
canceled. The DM was unwell.
That's right. We played some Divinity.
Divinity instead.
Mm-hmm. I stole less stuff. I still loaded it onto Benny and Lightning.
You stole that stuff.
Yes.
And then we fought horrible frog abominations. which was an absolutely horrific fight.
Of our horrible fights, that was probably the worst one.
I think that might have been the worst fight we've had so far. It felt really good when the level geometry ate half of my source attack.
Look, I think the worst one I had was when, like, we ran into a bunch of magisters and they all decided to murder me. I think the first time.
Oh yeah, fuck you apparently, right? Like, because you have such shit armor because you're a mage, they're just gonna slap you.
And I was like, and it's like the battle started. It was something we didn't expect, but the battle started.
No,
I like walked over to check something while you were talking that was like next to them, and I was gonna walk back, and then like in the middle of walking back, battle. So I'm like next to everybody.
It just started. I had no control over that.
Yep.
This is what happens when because I've not played. I've only played the first act, the original Sin 2, so I don't know anything that happens. So
I played the first act twice, and this is about the area I got to twice, but the second time I did go a lot farther, so I do know sort of a little stuff, but not really.
Your best bet is when I start talking to people, back away and go into stealth mode.
Like, I know there's like some like more weird bug monsters, like the one we fought.
Yeah,
like
the Void Woken or whatever.
There's a lot of Void Woken, and like there might be like some like I think there's like trolls or something somewhere, or like there might be like void monsters that are almost trollish. And then there's like the one person that we talked to mentioned it. There's like a graveyard with like weird shit going on.
Probably more magisters to kill as well. It's just a lot of thing to kill.
So Lightning remembers the trolls. Look, I remember them barely. I don't remember much about them except that there was like trolls or something that were annoying. That's what I remember about them. Because again, played through that once. And a couple years ago, actually, I was looking how long ago that one was because that was streamed. We have Buccaneers. Yes, the party basically concluded.
Yep.
More sabotage. More you dealing with issues. It felt like you guys were genuinely having like the struggle of like what the fuck do we do kind of moment, because that felt like what was probably going on with your characters.
Usually I'm good at figuring out these things. However, I've had like a really stressful 3 weeks, so I was basically brain melted. So I was like, I don't know, let's get Sandra, and then someone else like, nah, we don't need Sandra. I'm like, okay, let's get Nat. It turns out I was right. We needed Sandra. Fuck you.
Yeah. Sandra had purified food and drink.
Like I remember what these NPCs do.
I honestly didn't remember what level spell that was, and so I was like checking her spells. I'm like, oh, it's a level 0 spell.
Yeah.
Well,
I generally remember what all the NPCs do because I'm the only one who interacts with them.
Honestly, logically, I think she took it just in case for Ambrose's cooking sometimes. Yeah. Especially when he would get drunk. Which he got less drunk, as he moved to your boat from when he was on the Wormwood.
Less depressed now.
Yeah. He still drinks a lot. He just doesn't get shit-faced while having to cook important meals.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a session. I was a little, out of it. That's just because it was a stressful week.
Yeah. Certainly, there were plenty of pretty okay choices. And some weird ones. And it was sort of like one of those things, it's like, it was the thing about, the eels sabotages the boats. I'm like, it really is set up in such a way that it's not impossible, but it is incredibly unlikely that you can stop the first boat from going up.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a stopgap that it makes it that even if you're being perfect, it's meant to at least equalize things. That's it's on the edge that you have to really be perfect in other ways to get a very good result. Granted, again, as I said, you guys are pretty decent at your results. It's just that there's a nebulous thing that I have to figure out how many points it actually gives you, and that might make a difference. Also, depending on what results with the eel and stuff.
Yeah. The party's generally been fun. It's been an interesting time. I'm ready to go kill a halfling.
Yeah. Anything on Thursday?
I did my Thursday game.
Okay.
I basically because they're in a futury facility currently because Basically, they found that they're in a spaceship.
Mm.
The spaceship crash landed on this planet like a couple thousand years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They met some cool AI lady, talked to her for a bit. Found out that the spaceship is infested with horrible flesh monsters. Cell immediately found out that, hey, I like Dead Space. I'm doing a Dead Space.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically killed a bunch of flesh monsters. The flesh monsters were absolutely horrific, designed by Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
One of them just rips their spine out and throws it at you.
Wow.
So that's what. So Cell walked into a room and got a spine thrown at him, and it did like, it did like 15 damage. And Cell is a character with 17 HP because they have -1 con.
Ah.
So Cell got to be scared for a little bit. But what's great about what I've done there is I get to describe modern technology to people from the 1800s, effectively. So there was a point where they're like, okay, there's like research notes here. I want to get them. All right, they're on a computer. You don't know how a computer works. Roll intelligence. Okay, you don't know how to get them off this computer because you're from the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
So Lightning was like to the AI, hey, can we get these off of this thing? And she's like, sure. And she just begins to download. They don't know what the word download means.
Mm-hmm.
So they go back to her, and she gives them a flash drive. They don't know what a flash drive is. They're referring to it as a tiny book. So they have a really tiny book.
Mm-hmm.
And they took the AI with them, which probably has no repercussions, I'm sure.
Totally none.
Yeah, this is 8,000-year-old AI that has like 24 intelligence or something. And then they left the dungeon, and I got the sass cell again with the Fae that likes to sass him because she showed up. And I guess they're gonna kill her next session, which I expected them to kill her for 3 sessions, and they just haven't. They just keep letting her sass them.
What? Okay, I'll remember that the cat like probably either pooped or like had stuff dragged off her ass. She's old. Something could have gotten stuck, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I'll keep in mind out that when I go out into the hall, the cat has left something behind for us.
Oh, I also did a Flesh Cave, basically. So Lightning got to experience Flesh Cave.
Ah, great! Everybody should enjoy Flesh Cave.
Horrific. Cell got to experience 2 of them.
I'm just gonna say Flesh Cave, great.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna. So now Cell has to do one in his game.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna do one. I don't have. I'm not needing a Flesh Cave. I'll do a hair cave.
Yeah, that's fine. Sure. That's worse. That's worse because that's weirder.
The entire inside of the cave is covered in hair. It's not like fur. It's like hair.
That's just gross.
You're welcome. The hair cave.
Oh yeah, the worst part about me doing the Flesh Cave is one of the characters doesn't have legs because she's half snake. So she just had to slither along the flesh floor.
That's an experience. I'm gonna slither along the flesh floor.
Yeah, that's what happened with her. It was really uncomfortable, I'm sure.
Oof. Good times. Anything on Friday?
We had Cell's game.
Ooh,
we had Mega Sidetrack and we fought a were-rat. We wanted to keep it alive. I don't really know why. So we just choked him out. And then we've given him a second chance at life, I guess, if he stops being a dick. If he doesn't stop being a dick, we're gonna track him down and murder him. It's hard to remember what happened in that game because Cell constantly is flabbergasted by the fact that 3 of us who are in that game are absolute dumbasses and just joke around half the time and make dumb meme plans. Like, we had to capture a bunch of rats, and Lightning jokingly out of game said, oh, we'll just set up a bunch of little rat traps, and, we'll put them on display to lure the were-rat out. Cell thought that was a serious plan. I don't know why. Lightning comes up with the best plans. It'll always work. Just like use the jug one scoop at a time to get the water out of the hole.
God.
Yeah, no, I think Cell hates us after that. Pretty sure Cell hates us now.
Anyway, yeah. So, that was our week in tabletop. Good week.
Yep.
I didn't do a lot.
I mean,
I was there to sass some people about a flesh cave, and then, ran a game.
Well, I didn't pull the trigger on the flesh cave. Now I had to do it, alright? The best part is I had that independent thought, like, 4 months ago when I was prepping my game, before I knew Lightning had done the same exact thing. So I wanted to reference Dead Space, because I like Dead Space.
Just you wait. I don't know when I'm going to use it, but one of these days, hair cave.
Yeah, it's gonna be Chuckle's problem.
it could be one of the legends.
Yeah, sure. One of the legends.
One of the legends leads is
a very hairy cave.
No, it's just like
that's for the mustaches.
It's the mustaches been hidden deep within the hair cave.
Yeah, that's for the mustache.
Mm-hmm. Oh God. Yes, the hair cave. Oh, you're welcome, everybody.
Yeah, you could feel free to use that one.
We might have a hair cave. Who knows? Is there something left on this docket? Was that it? No, I think that's it.
We're done. We've done our duty.
Sometimes I forget what's going on. It was a pretty good week and stuff. I got to complain about some video games before we started, and then we got to enjoy the entire thing. But honestly, we didn't complain about too much. Which was nice.
No, it was like a pretty not complainy docket for once.
Yeah, I mean, no. So
and there was that Magic the Gathering trailer that came out a couple days ago that looked like okay.
Did I see that?
I have no idea. It's more Phyrexian crap.
It might have been.
It's like the trailer is just a Johnny sassing Teferi for being a coward. I guess that's the whole trailer. I guess he's a coward.
I guess it's setting up he's time traveling because I almost forgot the MacGuffin they're fucking using for the time travel because it's the. There literally is a magic item that they had introduced. Yeah. It might have been back in Dominaria. That's like it travels in time, but only backwards.
Yeah, he put a stone in a thing and went back in time in the trailer.
Yeah, so I'm like, is he taking the long way back? Because he is kind of like nearly immortal with his like time powers and stuff.
I think he's doing it immediately because like, I don't know if Phyrexia is probably a problem.
I mean, like he could like, what I mean is like he could like, he can't physically travel back with the artifact he had because only just the one way or something. Oh no, that one's a weird one. No, he probably figured out a way to travel back because I think that one sends you to the future or something.
I don't know. He put a weird rock in a device and it opened a time portal. That's basically what the trailer was.
I don't know. I really want to read the story, but I haven't found where it is though because I'm just curious.
I don't care enough. It's like I don't like Phyrexia. You haven't guessed by now.
Yeah, well, I feel like, they squandered the new Phyrexia shit completely and utterly and kind of messed it up. Old Phyrexia I was fine with because, I mean, like, they took care of it. It was an interesting storyline for a while, and they didn't really, like, go ham-fist on it like I feel like they're kind of feeling like they're doing now. But there's a bunch of horror game remakes. Check those out.
Yeah, those are going to be cool, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, if you missed it, I finished up Resident Evil 7 this week and said, thank you, I don't know if I'm going to play this again because apparently it's so badly optimized, it's kind of hard to stream.
Not a good game.
And honestly, the first person I'm not a fan of, hugely.
No, it's real bad.
It just felt like something was off about it the entire time. Maybe it was that, like, the horrible turn radius and, like, trying to, like, target enemies just felt really bad. And also, like, I gotta be honest, other than looking goofy, the mold enemies, they're just, like, so weirdly tanky in a lot of ways. Like, that's the only thing I have to, like, see, like, yeah, the zombies were tanky in 2, But, like, if I shot one in the face, it would actually, like, do something to it. Or, like, I could shoot a limb off, and it felt like I'm doing something.
I'm about to drop some cool knowledge upon you.
Hmm.
I don't believe the mold enemies have individual health values. I think they all have the same value, which is why they're so tanky, whereas every zombie in the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake have individual health values. Another thing is the mold are specifically tethered to rooms. They cannot bust down doors, unlike zombies in the remake.
Yeah.
So they're really kind of just not a threat.
I probably didn't have to fight as many as I did.
No, you can mostly just walk away from them because they can't follow you.
Well, the other thing is, like, I ended up just doing the, like, a weird, stupid strategy where I would activate the psychostimulant, see where all the items were, and then reload my save and go gather them. Because I'm like...
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, I really hate the search system for that game. Like, because, like, I feel like there's stuff hidden in such stupid areas.
The ship highlights all the problems with the game.
I missed 2 coins in the ship. I didn't even realize I missed these 2 coins in the ship because they're like I looked in the area they were supposed to be. I didn't see them. Like, it didn't trigger me looking at them, or like they prompt for them, because you have to be at like the perfect angle sometimes, which is kind of bullshit.
That means you probably missed on like the Magnum or something.
Oh yeah, I was like down. I think I missed like 1 coin overall, like literally 1 coin in order to get the Magnum. So I had like a whole bunch of Magnum bullets, and I was like, whatever. But I had so much
really,
like shotgun.
I kind of need that in mind, but 7 is not a great Resident Evil game.
I had a lot of like I used all my solid fuel on like rocket ammo, so I just had like a bunch of rocket and shotgun shells, and just like just blew up everything in my way up into the bosses, and like then just used a bunch of the mines on the 2 Belchy guys, and then like I just for the final boss I was just like shotgun and rocket launcher. There you go. Okay, it worked. That's good enough. Mm-hmm. I don't know. 7's certainly, I think, better than plenty of games in the series, but it's certainly also got like its issues that like I feel like as time is going on.
That Resident Evil Gaiden.
God.
The best game ever made.
I feel like it's that thing of like if I would since I played it after 2, I think that's what really ruined it for me.
Yes.
Because it's such an improvement from some of the old Resident Evils, but then 2 is like that culmination of the best that they could do. It's like the best part of modernizing it, but still being true to the original. Which again, like I still say, like comparing 2 and 1 remake, I still like 1 remake better. Gotta be honest. 1 remake, it not because it's better in a ways, because it has aged certainly, but because like it did that same thing of like upgrading everything for the time, and everything it felt like it added feels interesting and different, and it makes it feel I like it a lot, you know, I have to say. And I played that one a lot more anyway. But anyway, enough of that. So we're already months over for my schedule. You know, expect me to do more Pathfinder. I'm going to try to finish that up. And my other big thing on the docket is I guess I'll finally pick it up because I wanted to and play through a Stellaris game using those junkers, the trash people race. Because I kept wanting to do that. I'm having the urge to play Stellaris anyway, especially after, you know, we were talking about the beginning of the Stargate thing you posted in the one group chat we're in. You know, I'm like, fucking, I kind of want to play Stargate then. Or not Stellaris then, you know? You made me want to play that. Build like a freaking superpower or something, you know? Space power. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's hard to get people for Stellaris. I'm glad enough we have our three of us for Divinity, honestly.
Yeah.
But those are on the docket. I think that's probably what I'll end up doing. But if I change my mind tomorrow, you'll find out on Monday. I'll figure out what I want to do fully. Hey, catching up on Buccaneers. The current episode of Buccaneers that came out this week is going to be uploaded on YouTube on Wednesday, right before the new episode of Buccaneers. Finally caught up on all my RPG shows this week. Also, tomorrow, officially, my YouTube anniversary.
Ooh, neat.
I think that's 7 years on that one. I think I started a year beforehand. When my first video was put up on YouTube, which honestly is my jank. One of them is my really, 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 really jank intro video, which I really should change because it's been there for 7 years and the quality it's a thing. Anyway, so hey, I don't know what I'm gonna do for that yet. I'll probably record something and put it up, just talking to people on YouTube. Honestly, if you want to check out some stuff on it and for the anniversary, go ahead. Cool. Anyway, Buccaneers this week. At least some Pathfinder, maybe some Stellaris. This show should be on schedule for next Saturday. I don't think there's much else to shout out right now. Can you think of anything that you want to shout out or that I'm forgetting?
Not really. I don't have much.
Okay. Thank you for joining me, Momo, as per often. And everybody out there, thank you for hanging around and joining us. Yeah. Have a great rest of your Saturday, then. Hope it's a good one. And I'm going to pop off and say farewell, everybody. Bye.
Bye.